Sometimes in the garden, we get truly magical days where the weather is stunning, creatures are playing in my yard like an animated movie, and everything feels right. This was one of those weekends. Join me for some planting, cleanup, and general puttering on a beautiful weekend in my backyard. I hope it brings you a little bit of joy. The biggest thing on our to-do list this weekend was giving the oak tree in our yard a little bit of love. This poor tree has grass growing right up to the trunk. We honestly don't know that much about taking care of trees, and we're still learning. So for a while we didn't know. Trees do better if their roots have a little more space and air and aren't covered in grass. So now that we know, we are going to free this guy and give his roots some more oxygen and space to thrive. We had just gotten started when we had a curious little visitor come out to watch us by the shed. This little fox was so cute. I don't think my iPhone camera could even do it justice. It was wary and it wasn't overly friendly in a way where we would be concerned about it being unhealthy, but it just sat near the protection of the shed and sleepily soaked up the sunshine for hours with us while we worked. We've never had foxes in our yard before this, and I've never seen a fox this close, so this was such a new and special experience. It really makes me wish I had a super fancy camera and lens to be able to give you a super close-up, crisp video of this little guy, but I just did the best I could with my little iPhone camera, and I hope it still shares some of the magic and joy with you. Now back to our oak tree. I started by weeding the area and leaving the violets in here. And then we got the best impromptu visit from a special little visitor, so I have a bit of a gap in footage since she was crawling all around in frame and I didn't want to put her adorable little face on the internet. Ultimately, during this time, we realized that weeding wasn't going to cut it, and we needed to dig out several inches of dirt around the tree in order to free these surface roots. We figured out a pretty good system with Greg removing the grass and soil in the bigger areas while I used a small trowel and a hand rake to work the more delicate areas around the roots without damaging the tree. This process took hours. The soil was super tough from having only grass growing in it. It took a lot of time and effort and ended up taking way longer than I expected. It also probably didn't help that I was incredibly distracted by our cute little fox friend who I wanted to just stare at all day instead of working. Once we had removed all the grass on top, I found that the best way to remove more soil was to scrape it up with a hand rake and then shovel away the loosened soil. This did the best job of removing it in an even way without big divots from the shovel. It also loosened everything up, which will hopefully help improve the soil as we plant in here. Speaking of improving soil, next we are going to mulch this bed. We have a bunch of old wood chips that have been sitting in the back of our yard for a year or two now, and they're filled with lots of goodies like mycelium and mushrooms, bugs and worms, all of which will help with the process of improving the soil while the mulch helps retain moisture. I still can't believe all that where the dirt line is was underground. With that huge job done, I'm moving on to dealing with the remnants of our apple tree. We had a massive apple tree here that we had to cut down because it was super diseased and about to fall over. We had the stump removed, but there are still all of these suckers popping up, I'm assuming from some of the big roots that remained. I feel weirdly kind of sad getting rid of this, but it's very awkwardly placed in our yard, and we are planning a very big project in this space, so it's got to go. Hi. Hello. What do you think? Even though I just made a huge mess, I decided to take a pause from the apple tree and plant some things. I picked up a few native plants at a local native plant sale this week, and I needed to force myself to get them in the ground before I can overthink too hard about where to put them. All my fellow perfectionists, you know the struggle. I'm starting with this beautiful elderberry bush. I have been wanting to get an elderberry for a while, and I kept putting it off because, again, the aforementioned perfectionism and decision paralysis about where to put it. But I have decided that this is the year I am doing the things, as imperfectly as needed to just get going. And I'm very excited about this plant. Common elderberry is a fantastic shrub that's native in most of the eastern half of the US. It helps support birds with a place to hide, nesting spots, and of course the delicious berries. It's also a host plant for many species of moths, and it supports pollinators as well. once again I'm getting distracted from the task I'm on by something else, because that's gardening. While I was ripping out the apple tree, I noticed a columbine plant, so I'm gonna dig it up and give it a new home. I'm not knowledgeable enough to recognize if this is a native variety of columbine or not, so if anybody knows, drop a comment. I'd love to learn how to tell the difference. I'm rehoming this one in the back of our yard in what I would like to be a woodland-inspired garden, but that's currently just an overgrown mess. Except this gorgeous patch of violets that's so happy it's practically glowing. We have what I think is an eastern juniper tree back here, and because of the dense evergreen foliage of this tree, it's shady and dry under here, which I find to be kind of a tough combo to plant. Luckily, those are conditions that a columbine can take, so we're gonna hope that it likes it here. So I start clearing this space while Greg is working on the joyous task of sifting finished compost. Following right along with the theme of one thing always leads to another in gardening, as I was clearing the planting space of weeds, I realized that this tree's roots looked a little suffocated as well, and the soil around this tree trunk was totally dry and like concrete. It was super compacted and looked completely devoid of life. We didn't want to get super bogged down in this task because we knew how long it took to do this for the oak tree, and we probably could have spent hours digging this up. But we decided to just do a little bit before planting this columbine. So we freed these roots, and you can see how dead the soil is. There's no bugs in here. It's just like gray, dry, dead soil. So we loosened it up best we could. This bit around the roots was like concrete. So we dug out some of that. And now we're adding all of this good decaying organic matter. And this has so many bugs and good stuff in it. We still have lots of work to do back here, but hopefully this little bit helps. And here's our little columbine all tucked in her new home. Now back to my favorite thing, making decisions. We decided to plant in this area, which is looking rough, so we needed to take some time to clear a little bit of space so that our new plants didn't get totally choked out. I started by tackling the ground cover weeds in the area I wanted to plant, and Greg worked on digging up the big invasive shrubs in here. The last two plants I need to decide where to plant today are American plum. These are another great native that's a large shrub / small tree. American plum is an ecological keystone species, which means they are critical to the food web. They support a lot of life and biodiversity and are super important. According to the National Wildlife Federation, 96% of our terrestrial birds rely on insects supported by keystone plants. Plants in the Prunus genus, like American plum, are in the top 10 keystone plants, and they support 340 different caterpillar species. Crazy. So if you don't have a lot of space for landscaping, or even if you do, but especially if you don't, consider looking up keystone plants in your region and choosing one of those to add to your growing space to make the most impact with your planting. We need these species to survive, and the creatures in your yard will thank you. I'll put the link down below where you can find out more info about which plants are keystone plants in your area in the US. This is a keystone species for me and much of the US, but depending on where you are in the world, something that's beneficial to the local ecology for me might not be for you. So always remember to do a little bit of research if someone recommends a plant, even me. Double check that it's not invasive wherever you are in the world. The apple tree branches have been cut down, but I'm not done with them. Instead of letting these go to waste, let's create something beautiful. I've lit a fire, and now begins the tedious task of stripping these of all of their leaves. Then, I'll weave these together to make some wreaths for decorating. As I sat by the fire in my backyard, creating something from what the nature in our yard has given us for free, I feel so lucky for this little habitat that we're creating. It's messy and imperfect, and there's so much work left to do. But we saw this weekend how being gentle with the critters in our soil and beyond allows life to thrive. We might have bits chewed up on our plants, or sometimes lose harvests to voles or squirrels. But by recognizing that our little garden exists in a much larger system and resisting the temptation to try to control or even poison that system to maximize our harvest or fit nature into an aesthetic box, we gain so much more. Getting to experience this magical weekend of sharing our yard with wild creatures felt like such confirmation that our commitment to not using any herbicides or pesticides on our land and prioritizing habitat over neatness is finally paying off. Watching a family of foxes play by our shed, becoming friends with the robins that call our yard home, and hearing the haunting hoots of the owls that enjoy spending time in our big trees will always be worth losing some plants, having weeds in our lawn, and very possibly being the scorn of suburbia with our wild, untamed, unaesthetic yard. I hope this video inspires you to embrace the messiness of nature in all its beauty, reminds you that nature doesn't exist to fit aesthetics, but to allow life to thrive, and that we don't own the system we step into when we garden, and we should treat it with respect. Remember to be kind to the creatures who share our yards with us. Now I hope you enjoy this little clip of the owls in our yard gifting us with their calls, putting the cherry on top of a near perfect weekend in my garden. Until next time.